and it splattered everywhere over the back of my seat and onto the legs of the man behind me.
Oh, that's lovely.
He was a very tall man. The man behind was none other than multi-billionaire Richard Branson, who was travelling on economy class as a publicity stunt. York Norton proud. So, okay. So this guy threw up on Richard Branson.
Citation needed.
What? I reckon that's true.
Really? Are you sure about this?
He was going to Manorca. He threw up on Richard Branson. There's nothing wrong with that.
He was going to a place that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
First of all.
Yeah.
Right. Red flag there immediately.
Yeah.
Ho 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 ho! Merry Christmas!
So this one's from Brian O'Rourke. It's another little story that he sent in. I have a story for you. I was once out on a date with my girlfriend going to the worst film I ever saw. In brackets, romantic
Twilight.
comedy. Close brackets.
Oh.
So it could have been Twilight, yes. Probably was. I bought a bag of candy and entered the theatre. It was a double date, so my friend was also there. In the middle of the movie, I asked my girlfriend if she would like some candy. She said of course yes, and I attempted to open the bag. However, the bag was rather tough. We've all been there. We've all been there. And I didn't want to look weak in front of my girlfriend, so I tugged as hard as I could.
Yeah.
I realised my...
And what happened, Lewis? What
I
happened?
realised my mistake too late as I watched hundreds of Sour Patch Kids spray all over myself, my girlfriend, and all of the people in front of me.
Girlfriend.
My friend broke out in a fit of laughter, as did my girlfriend, which did little to help. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life, and my girlfriend broke up with me as a result.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! Okay, now it was a really bad story. Okay, because I mean it's really uninteresting. You opened a bag of sweets and the sweets went everywhere. That's basically
That's the entire story.
But the fact that a girl broke up with him over this. What the hell? Wow, that's crazy. Are you sure that was the reason? Are you sure it wasn't like the straw that broke the camel's back?
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
You know, everything else that you did that was horrible, that she hated, you know, none of that mattered. It was the bag of sweets that I opened really badly in the cinema.
It's funny how people always...
I had sex with her sister a few times.
Wow.
She found out about it. There was that time I ran her mother over in the street on purpose. And then backed up over her. There was the time I punched her younger brother in the face during the nativity play in which he was playing the baby Jesus. But yeah, none of that mattered. It was all because I opened a bag of sweets awkwardly.
This is from Plaid. He says, "Hello, I'm writing you a couple of scary stories about creepy things that happened in my house. The first incident happened 7 years ago, so I was 15. I was up late at night playing Morrowind on the family computer when I was supposed to be in bed. Naturally, all the lights were off and I had the volume turned down low as it was a little past midnight and I had school the next morning. I had started a new character and was in the starting town taking care of some quests when I heard something. It was a person whistling a tune. I thought it a bit strange, not able to remember if there was such a sound in the game or not. I considered that it perhaps came from my grandmother's room, as she sleeps with the television on, and her room is situated just up the stairs from where the computer is."
I thought you were going to say she suffers from sleep whistling. Something.
But I knew it was impossible. Her door was closed, and I couldn't hear the TV at all. I turned the volume down almost the way to nothing, and continued playing, pushing it to the back of my mind. With the sound nearly muted, I once again heard someone whistling a tune. I thought that maybe it could be coming from the game, even though it seemed too loud to be, so I turned the speakers off entirely and sat, waiting, sweating. Sure enough, shortly after, I heard it again, whistled through the dead silence of the house. A sense of dread immediately came after me. A sense of dread immediately came over me. The only way out of the room was through the foyer, where the whistling seemed to have come from. Still, I knew I had to do it, so I gathered the courage in my little 15-year-old heart, turned the computer off, and ran through the foyer and up to my bedroom. I never played Morrowind at night again. So that's it, that's the story.
Oh, Christmas tree, this is the Christmas yard.
I heard of that podcast.
The second story happened much more recently, around April of this year. My father was in New York for the weekend, so in the house it was just me, a friend, and my grandmother, who still suffers from sleep whistling. I was playing a video game in my room with my friend at night, when I heard what sounded like the front door opening and closing, as if someone had entered. My bedroom door wasn't closed, so we both heard it pretty clearly. My room, by the way, is across the hall from my grandmother's, so it's right up the stairs from the front door, and coincidentally directly above the room where I used to play Morrowind. Anyway, I ignored this.
Okay, yeah, the Morrowind room.
Yeah. I ignored this as I knew the door was locked, and only somebody with the key could have come in. Moments later, my grandma came into my room and asked if I had heard somebody enter the house. I told her that both me and my friend did hear something, but we didn't know what it was. She went back to her room and locked the door, and I reasoned to myself that the front door couldn't have opened, despite that we had heard it, because the light in the foyer usually automatically turns on when the front door is opened at night. A few hours later, me and my friend mustered the courage to do a quick sweep through the house to make sure nobody was inside, but our search came up empty. I chalked it up as just one of the several strange things that had happened in my house at night, and saw my friend out before going to bed. Well, there you go. We've not heard back from Plaid since that. Story.
Oh my god, do you reckon if we turned up to that house that there would just be like an empty lot with just like swirls of dust?
What we should do is we should like knock on the door and then run away.
Wow. And then he'll write us another email. I was sitting in my room playing a computer game when all of a sudden I heard a knock on the door. When I went downstairs to see who it was who had knocked on my door, I opened the door and there was no one there! Oh my god! Oh, this is the scariest story I ever heard!
Well there you go. Thank you very much for that. Goodness me.
Brilliant.
This is a letter from Alex Sconzo. Some time ago I was a kid and was digging around in my yard just like that Yognaut was doing and like you guys were suggesting we did. I found a key, an old rustic looking key, like they always seem to have in video games. Kind of thin, wiry looking. I kept the key my whole life until about 2 years ago, when my then girlfriend brought me to some garage sale. I feel the need to say that I live halfway across the country from my old house. So anyway, at this garage sale, there was a small chest. It was only a couple of dollars, so I brought it home because my girlfriend thought it was pretty. I figured I could try and pick the lock and give it to her as a present so she could use it for makeup or whatever women use boxes for nowadays.
Oh god.
So we went back home.
I'm scared, Lewis.
And I told her the box would be
scared.
ready in a day or two. That night, in a fit of curiosity, I went digging around my attic and I found the old key that I found in my yard as a child. I ran back downstairs and tried it on the box, and lo and behold, with a click, it worked.